Hey, coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D, looking at the 1967 Roosevelt one dime coin from the United States of America, and there it is over here on the right. And right next to it is this really shiny looking coin. And you don't see many coins that have this kind of shine to them, almost like an aluminum or a shined up automobile, the old automobile bumpers or something. You don't see that often on United States coins, and that's because it's a special kind of shine. In 1967, they didn't have any proof sets. They didn't have any uncirculated mint sets. They only had what they called a special mint set, or SMS. And if you wanted to get a specialty coin from 1967, you either had to get to the bank really early and get an incredibly good shape regular coin, or you had to buy the special mint set. And the special mint sets were not really expensive, but they didn't make that many of them, but they weren't that great either. They just had a different kind of polish to them. So let's take a look at it. And this is a whole pile of the special mint sets right here. So let's look through them, and then we'll look at the dime from the special mint set. So of course this is a special mint set, Kennedy $50, and you almost never see, like, you see what kind of shiny this is. This isn't like a proof coin shiny where they buff the head up and do it different. This is more like it doesn't even look real, like a plastic kind of shiny. But I'll tell you what, because they didn't make that many special mint sets, it's still worth some money. So this $50 might be worth $2 or $3. But keep that in mind, the $2 or $3. This is the quarter from that year, and it's a pretty good quarter. But they didn't. This is the best you can get. And look at the legs on this eagle. You can't see any eagle feathers at all. So what they did was they really were trying to get collectors to quit collecting and people to stop hoarding coins. And so they stopped putting out the special sets. They didn't put any mint marks on them. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's no mint marks on any of these. There is, of course, where you go way down in there. There's a John Flanagan. They still put the initials on, but no mint marks on the coins. This is the best you can possibly get, and you can't see half the steps on here. This coin has never been circulated or used. It came in a special mint set, so they did get collectors to stop collecting them because they just didn't make them in good quality. They didn't make them with the same kind of polish on them, and they didn't send them around as much. This, of course, is the Lincoln penny. Now, this penny looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Nice red to it. There's a Frank Kasparos over there, and then there's the front. Pretty nice penny, but again, they didn't do the special proof shine to it, so. But it's not a regular circulating one either. Now, this is the back of the 1967 diamond. Look at this. Doesn't look too bad. And we got both the bands here, and we got both the bands here. There isn't a huge market for full bands versions of 1967 dimes, but if there was, this would be a valuable one. But even if it isn't, at MS65, this coin's probably worth about $350. And it's what do you call it? You don't call it Proof 65, but you don't really call it MS65. Maybe call it SMS 65. It's kind of a hybrid. We tip it up on its side and we see there's a copper nickel clad copper. Actually, these are really nice lines. You don't often see it that fine on the side. Tip it back to the front and we see that it is indeed Roosevelt. It is indeed the 1967, and it is indeed really hard to get these on camera because their shininess. Down here we see a J and an S, and that's for the engraver of the United States dime, John Sinek. Now, these dimes first came out in 1946, the year after President Roosevelt died. It says Liberty in front of him. Underneath his chin it says In God We Trust. Back here it says 1967 again. No mint marks on any coins in 1967. Back here we can kind of take a look and see his hair, and we kind of look through that, and sometimes you'll see some little additional stuff behind the ear. We're not seeing that. His face actually looks pretty good there. Some pretty good definition. We'll tip it up a little bit to get the the mouth better. Yeah, so this is a pretty good condition coin. It would not surprise me if it was MS65. What would surprise me is if I got it rated as an MS65, because it would cost me probably $10 or more, and it would probably be worth $3.50 to $5 maximum. All right, so what do the other dimes from 1967 look like? Well, this is just, there's all kinds of circulating dimes, and if you've tried to get dimes from 1967 and you know, like when you're a kid or when you started collecting and you said, geez, every dime I have is Philly, I can't find any with the Denver mint mark. That's because there are none anywhere. They all had no mint mark on them. So when you start finding them, they're all going to look like this, every single one. What can we look for on them? Once in a while you'll find a mess up in God We Trust. And once in a while you'll get the full torch, full bands version, but not very frequently, because they just rushed to get them out. They didn't want collectors to collect them, so they didn't make them as good as they might have otherwise. All right, well, that's all we have today from from the Big D Coin Channel. It's DC on the Big D Coin Channel. Love to have you subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you might have in the comment section.